Hello and welcome back to Suspended Foundation. I'm your host, Dennis Betholkis, and this is Feelings in Hallways. This is where I go over what happened this week on the CW DC shows, the DC superhero shows. Why did I lump them all together in one location? Well, it was easier to do it that way than to cover all of them because let's just put it this way. They're not the best quality. They've got some interesting concepts at times, but yeah, they're not they're not of the same caliber as say the DC Universe shows, which have a lot more money pumped into them. So that's the reason why this show came about. And also, I needed something to put into my schedule there, a little hole in my schedule that I needed to fill. So let's get some business taken care of first. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share, and subscribe. If you want to know when I'm going to be on next, again, you can hit the little bell down below. If you've already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go to the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. It's still a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm actually online. So that is how it works, as Penn just put up there. Thank you, Penn. If you want to know what my schedule is, you can go to suspendedfanimation.com. I've got my schedule up there. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page. And I also have a Facebook group page where you guys can actually post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I know some people have been posting stuff today, which is actually kind of cool. We got some cool stuff in there. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. That will happen after the end of this year. So there are plans in the works there. So, where are we with this? Yeah, so this is going to be, of course, spoilers. This is for the week of this week, which was October 20th, is where it started off with. Oh, wrong one. Spoiler alert. I am going to spoil the show, the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch the episodes, and come on back. You can post down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle, the new paddle, actually. There's an old paddle and a new paddle now. So, yes. I always got to remember which side's which. I got to color code these things a little bit better. So, I'm going to start off with Supergirl here. Not the best of episodes. Quite honestly, the A story, which is John dealing with his brother Maleficent. Malefic. And it's pretty boring, to tell you the truth. So John has some holes in his memory of what happened. Kelly, Jimmy's sister, is using something called a Q waves in order to fill in those gaps, going into his mind and helping him fill in those gaps. And then he also uses Dreamer to help him fill in some more gaps, of course. And this is all because there's some damage that came about when he fought his brother. There's supposedly a Martian curse that doesn't allow brothers to fight each other with psychic powers. It actually damages both of them. So, and as a result of healing himself, he also heals his brother who's been psychically linked to him. Yeah, like I said, it just kind of falls into the wayside where you just really don't care. This honestly should have just been one episode. Instead of dragging it out over 3 episodes. It's a boring plot line. I'm sorry. It's a really boring plot line. What's actually the more interesting plot line is Lena Luthor kind of going into the evil zone, if you will, because she is looking up how to control people's minds at this point. Yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. Lena Luthor is just carrying the season. Her arc is much more interesting, and all we're getting is 5 minutes of it here, 5 minutes of it there. And her manipulating Kara to a way that or Kara, I should say, in just a way to get her to steal Lex's books from a heavy duty depository or military depository. And also, Kara takes one of Lex Luthor watch device, which she later gives to Jimmy and Kelly when they're on the run for Malefic, and doesn't think anything of it. So, and of course, with the journals are coded because that's how Lex is. And she uses her computer, which is now inside of Miss Tessbacher, to decode it. and she does decode it. And he has written an essay on how to use Q waves in order to mind control people. And that's where we leave off on the episode with Lena being able to finding out all the Lex's ideas in order to mind control people using Q waves, which is what these new contact lenses do. They use Q waves, which everyone's using. So yeah, I mean, not the most interesting episode. And my God, enough with the romance storyline for Brainy and Dreamer. It doesn't work. Yeah, the Brainy and Dreamer, dude, that storyline, the relationship between them, they have zero chemistry. They have less chemistry together than what's his name, Dick Grayson and Dawn in Titans, and I mean much less chemistry than Dick and Dawn do on DC Universe. If, for those of you who are watching, hey Dante S, hey Mr. Robot. Yes, I'm talking about Riverdale, Mr. Roboto, because you know that's what I like to watch. But yeah, their storyline sucks, and I was kind of hoping she was going to dump Brainy, and she didn't. She's still carrying on, and his whole thing of where he says, "I only operate at 100%. I, you know, it's either on or it's off," kind of thing. And it's like, well, no, it's not. You've actually said before in the past that you've had relationships and that you can deal with emotions, that you actually have emotions. That's what separates you out from all the brainiacs, is that you actually have emotions. It's kind of a cop out at that point. I don't know who the fuck was writing it, but obviously they haven't been watching the series, because that was kind of a cop out on that end. Yeah, I'm not too hip on the actor who's playing Brainy right now. He's kind of a one note, and it's showing that he can't go beyond that. Either they're not allowing him to, or he just can't act beyond what he's been doing lately, because it's the same inflection, the same kind of tone. It's very robotic, which I understand. That's what Brainy is, but at the same time, he's either really good at it or they're not giving him any direction at all, and he's just kind of doing his own thing. Feeling in fortresses, no. That's feeling up in fortresses. That's a different thing. It's a Superman thing. That's what he does. Um Batwoman, on the other hand, which we have we got introduced to Tommy Elliott in this one, who of course becomes Hush. And Tommy Elliott is interested. He wants to know why where Bruce is. Why Bruce is back in town, because he has found out that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person. And since Batman's been spotted in town, obviously Bruce is back. He's been back, after a 3-year hiatus. Kate, of course, tells him Bruce isn't there, and he doesn't believe her, of course. And he says, "Here's an invitation to my party," and he kind of leaves it for her. In the meantime, someone breaks into Wayne Tech Labs, and steals one item, and it's a rail gun that Bruce had made. So Bruce had made a rail gun as being the only thing that can go through the bat suit, because in case anyone stole the bat suit, he'd have something. Yeah, Bruce does not make guns. Okay, yeah, he doesn't make guns, because what killed his family? A gun. So yeah, that's kind of bullshit right there. Just not really. Yeah, but anyway, so Alice, in the meantime, is Kate is trying to get her to stop killing people, and she's got Alice's boyfriend, who she's been questioning. She goes, "You know what? If you can show me that you can stop killing for 24 hours, then I'll give your boyfriend back to you." Is what she does, which seems very high schoolish, in a very weird way. But yeah. And everyone's at this party now, at Tommy Elliott's party, and Alice, of course, kills somebody. She kills one of the guards that is back at Jacob King's house, and his wife, Catherine, of course. And Alice calls him up and says, she starts playing Bach on the cello, because that's what he taught her to play. There's their favorite song. And he finally believes that she's his daughter, and he's freaking out. He wants to go home, and he's grabbing Catherine. He's also getting his stepdaughter to go as well, and Sophie in the meantime is is that right? So Sophie is her name. Yeah, Sophie is her bodyguard, and Tommy has the elevators rigged to blow. So when Batwoman shows up, which she has had the bat suit repaired because there's a hole in the chest as a demonstration with another railgun prototype. Long story short, she basically gets the bat suit repaired along with a wig added to it, a red wig. Yeah. It wasn't terrible. I agree with you, Kayla, but it wasn't good either. Yeah, it wasn't. I honestly, I just want a fucking Batman story at this point. I don't want Batwoman. Batwoman's boring, just so boring. And quite honestly, if the woman who's playing Alice, if she had acted the way she did in the first episode, it would be even better. She needs to chew up a lot more scenery. She needs to go really Joker-esque on this. But she kind of reined it in. I don't know if she's gotten direction to rein it in or what's going on, but I liked her better when she was just kind of going wild. And that was when she was better. And she's arguably the best actress, the best actor in this show, quite honestly. All the rest, and I mean, Ruby Rose is like a fucking cardboard cutout, man. She is stiff. Um, it reminds me of Babylon 5, the first season, when they're talking about Sinclair being this wooden block, the actor playing Sinclair being a wooden block. She is like granite at this point. And I mean, just that dense and that just bad acting. I mean, there's a scene in the elevator where her and Sophie and the stepsister are all going up in the elevator, and it's supposed to be an unpleasant moment. And you know, it just didn't show. It's actually in my thumbnail that I have, and it looks like three actresses standing in a room, standing in a hallway, talking about feelings that aren't real. That's how bad it is. So anyway, there is a MacGuffin, of course, that if anyone got the railgun, Bruce had a device in his bat suit that can deactivate the railgun. So if someone stole the bat suit, then the railgun's supposed to stop the person in the bat suit by shooting a hole through them. But if someone stole the railgun, then the bat suit supposedly has something to stop the railgun from shooting a hole through. My God, too many MacGuffins. Too many fucking MacGuffins. That should be a hashtag at that point. Too many fucking MacGuffins. So she ends up kicking the shit out of Tommy. So that he's blown up elevators. He actually sent an elevator down full of caterers and kills quite a few of them. And Kate uses, of course, a double-ended grappling hook, which is so seriously telegraphed at the beginning when they're in the Wayne Tech vault. And Lucius's son is basically saying, "Oh, that's a double-headed grappling hook," and he goes, "Well, it's here because there was no practical use for it, except for stopping an elevator that's falling. You hit one end." I mean, it was bad. And of course, Alice ends up saving her from Tommy Elliott, saving Batwoman, I should say, or Kate and whatnot, and ends up killing her boyfriend. Because she's like, yeah, I didn't feel like waiting the 24 hours. And so I killed him. I moved on. And which I thought was interesting. That was a lot more interesting than your A plot that's going on. In the meantime, Catherine, who's married to Jacob Kane, has some kind of Court of Owls shit going on, which I wish they would kind of just expound on just a little bit more. I know we're only the third episode into it, but still, again, this side plot is a lot better than what's happening in the main plot. And they need to focus on that more because I don't like Ruby Rose. She's a horrible actress. I mean, just horrible, horrible actress. Yeah, I know Batman uses a double-sided grapple gun in the Arkham series, in the video game series, but and that's because they took it from the Burton Batman movie, the first Batman movie where he had it. but still. Oh, yeah. Less said about that, the better. So let's move on to Black Lightning. So Black Lightning, essentially Jefferson makes a deal with Agent Odell. He gets a new suit. So he's got a watch that it's set up to his unique electrical frequency. So he charges this watch, and the watch, I guess, can make his suit. So if he charges up enough to where it's almost going to overload the watch, it actually creates the suit around him, which is kind of cool. I mean, they got him a new suit. It was interesting, but Odell wants him to work with him to help get rid of the Markovians. And I'm kind of wondering now at this point if Odell is actually the Markovians. He's working with the Markovians, and they've got this shield on over Freeland because they're trying to keep it while keeping the U.S. government out. That's what I'm wondering at this point. And Odell also brings in Jennifer. He ropes her in too to this to help take out, uh, a database farm or something like that. Which she's a lot more powerful than what I thought she was. She's flying around and then she's just shooting out fireballs and taking out buildings. She shoots out 2 fireballs and takes out a good sized building. So yeah, and then of course we have oh god, now I just forgot her name. Anissa, there we go. Hooks up back up again with Grace, who is a shapeshifter, and is getting back in touch with that. And yeah, the whole story there in Black Lightning is just spinning its wheels. It really is. It's just getting boring. So Jefferson made this deal, of course, so that he and his wife could go back home to the kids, and they go back to their kids, and then his wife finds out about this, of course, and gets pissed at him. So there you go. But again, she's also working. I mean, he got pissed at her when she started working with Odell before she didn't tell him either. So again, it's the whole secrets bullshit that CW does. I'm tired of the secrets and more secrets. I've got a secret, but I'm not going to tell you anybody because it would help if I actually told somebody instead of keeping it inside and being an idiot about it. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I might be ending this feelings in hallways because I'm bitching quite a bit about these shows, and it's just getting worse as we're going along. It might be okay for me to just talk about them every now and then on a Saturday morning blast off or something like that. But I think doing these shows is just making me more and more pissed off at these shows, to tell you the truth, and just seeing the stupidity that's going on. And they're not. I mean, the thing is, it's not that they're not enjoyable. They're kind of mindless in a way. I'm gonna get to Flash and Arrow here in a minute. Uh, I kind of figured it's a good break point here in the middle here. So if you guys want to see more of this show, let me know in the comments, and tell me if that's what you want to see. If you want to see more of this, knowing that I might end up being bitchy about some of these shows because uh, that's kind of how the writing's going at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. So Flash, Barry is trying to ready the team for his eventual death in the crisis by not telling them anything because he's got a secret. He and Iris both have a secret. Ralph, in the meantime, is dealing with his mom, who also has family secrets. And Dr. Russo, basically Mohinder from Heroes, is he's got a secret too about the dark matter stuff, and he finds out that the guy that he killed, the drug dealer or the gun runner that he killed, who's come back to life because of the crap that he put into him, he can control. He can control dark matter infected blood that he's infected. And at the end of this, he finds out that if he absorbs that blood into him or injects it back into him, it actually cures him a little bit more, and he needs more of it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. At least the secret only lasted one episode until the next secret pops back up again. The inevitable last secret. Luckily, Killer Frost found it out and told him so, and he finally told the entire team. The entire team's now all bummed out. The thing I found kind of funny was the whole Iris and Cisco finding another Wells, Harrison Nash Wells, who's like an Indiana Jones guy, but he's looking for some multiverse gems called Eternium, is what it's called. And he's got a little doodad on his wrist that beeps when it gets near it. And quite honestly, I'm more interested in the Harrison Wells than I am about this Dr. Rosso guy. That again should have been one episode, the Dr. Rosso. Yes, I understand he's supposed to be a big name because he was on Heroes. Ooh, he sucked on Heroes. Well, no, I take that back. He was one of the better things on Heroes, but he still isn't the best actor in the world. That's why he's on the CW, and that's why he hasn't been in anything else since Heroes, really. He might have been on some NBC stuff, but again, I don't watch NBC other than The Good Place, and he wasn't on that. So there you go. So yeah, so Ralph finding out that his mom was lying to him about all the, I mean, dude, you could have put some shit together. How come all the guys were dying that she was going out with? I mean, she has a boyfriend and then the boyfriend suddenly dies and he, she's no longer seeing him, of course, because he's dead. She went through like, it sounded like 8 of these things. Yeah. Yes, Eternium is from the Rock of Eternity. I understand that, Caleb. I know that's kind of an Easter egg, which I don't think they meant it that way. I think they might have goofed. I really don't think that they are bringing Shazam into this. And I don't even think it's a Shazam reference. I'm fairly sure that the writers on this were just making something up Eternium and did not check their DC sources on that. I hate to say it, but if they were actually writing Shazam into this, that's a horrible way of doing it. There were so many other ways you could do it. And also, we know you're not going to do Shazam because Shazam's a movie. It's a WB movie that actually worked, and it's supposed to be getting a sequel, from what I understand. So if you haven't seen Shazam, go and watch it. It's out on DVD, video on demand, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's actually the first DC movie that I've enjoyed, to tell you the truth, in modern times. That was fun, like a fun movie. Not serious like The Dark Knight, Nolan's Batman, which was good in its own right. And it wasn't shitty like the Snyder Murderverse. So, yeah. Yes, it's the only material that can survive multiverse ending events. True. Because it's supposed to be the Rock of Eternity. And yes, the Rock of Eternity is eternal. So Arrow, let's get to the one good show that was on here. So Arrow ends up in Hong Kong after the Earth 2 explosion. And Black Canary, Laurel, does not want to believe that Earth 2 is gone. And she grabs the Cisco's device, his multi-universe device, thinking that it won't work, that it's broken. And she wants to go and find somebody to fix it. In the meantime, the Monitor has a task for Ollie. He's supposed to find a scientist and find him. That's it. Just supposed to find him. And no other clue other than that, other than to find this guy. So Diggle ends up finding Ollie, and they end up going to a Argus safe house, which is run by Harbinger, who we find out is Lila. So Harbinger in the books, of course, is a big deal. It's a multiverse spanning person who, just like you say, it's a harbinger of doom, that kind of thing. So how Lila is Harbinger now, we don't know. Hopefully, we're going to get an episode on this. And Katana ends up coming in too because she lives in Hong Kong because she's Japanese, of course, and lives in China. Who knows? Um, yeah. And so she helps them find the scientists. The scientists has been taken by the Triad, actually White China, to try and rebuild the Alpha Omega virus, which the Chinese government has, and Ollie ends up stealing. Yeah, she's Harbinger in the comics. I don't know about lately, but I think she was at one point, Caleb. It depends on what universe you go to and what DC, if it was the new 52, if it was old. I'm actually lost now in how many different timelines they've got going on. So who knows? Yeah, she's probably the Harbinger in one of the comics. Laurel finally actually comes to terms that Earth 2 is gone, and has to deal with if she's going to help out with them or not and stop that same shit from happening to Earth 1. And in the meantime, Ollie is trying to do the same kind of deal that got Katana's husband killed with White Tiger by giving her the virus in exchange for the scientist. So they end up getting the scientist back. White China almost kills Katana, and Black Canary ends up helping them out, helping out by taking out White China before she can kill Katana. And then we see that the scientist gets taken, disappears into Argus, under Argus protection. And Lila at the very end ends up meeting up with the Monitor and basically is talking to the Monitor like she is on even keel with him. And how they need to get Ollie to do what they need, what they need him to do, that kind of stuff. So obviously she knows what the Monitor's plans are, and that's where we leave off on that episode. So fairly interesting. I mean, we're going towards Crisis on Infinite Earths, of course, and I kind of like this because he is Ollie's supposed to be hopping worlds, different universes, looking for different things. He's on a scavenger hunt for the Monitor at this point, and I guess Harbinger as well. And I'm okay with that. It wasn't boring, at least, except for the B-roll of going into Star City in the future. And I honestly, I wasn't following that story. I just kind of tuned out while I was watching it. I know that the Deathstroke gang basically wants to destroy Star City there. And one of the kids' brothers is the head of the Deathstroke gang. And and basically they use them in order to get Oliver's kid to fix a drive that was damaged. That's pretty much what it came down to. So they could steal it back because they wanted the information off of it. There you go. Like I said, the B-roll on that one is just boring. I'm more digging the main storyline on Arrow on this one than I am the future storyline, which was, again, like I said, last season, the future storyline was a lot better than the main storyline. Yes, Diggle Jr. is Deathstroke in the future. Even though, did he get the Miraku or anything like that injected into him? Or I don't know. Miracle Whip? Did he get the Miracle Whip injected into him? That's a different story altogether. But yeah, we haven't figured that out as of yet. So, again, if you guys want more of this show of Feelings in Hallways, let me know down below in the comment section and tell me what you think. Maybe you just don't like the way I'm maybe I'm not treating these shows fairly enough or something like that, but I'm spoiled now. I really am. There is so much stuff out there that is good that I kind of don't want to waste my time on stuff that is poorly written or poorly financed, to tell you the truth. And that again is what Marvel TV, that's what they're doing this whole revamp for. That's why they're getting rid of Jeff Loeb, Ike Perlmutter, that cheap bastard, and they are trying to redo their their whole thing, their whole TV programming. So no, Danny the Street would not be in hallways with feelings, or feelings with feelings in hallways. Yeah. I get what you're going there, Mr. Roboto. And I was just kind of leaving it as that, but you keep talking about it. So yeah. I think you're being fair. I just can't believe you'd stop watching them before Christ. No, I'm gonna keep watching them, Penn, on my own. I just don't know about covering them on this show. That's the whole thing. It's I mean, like I said, I can watch them in the background and have them playing, and I can go do something else and still come back and still get the gist of what's going on. Or I can watch it online and just skip to the end and go, okay, that's what's happening at the end. It's really like a soap opera. You watch the very beginning of it and you watch the very end of the episode and you're done. You got what's going on. Because everything gets set up in the beginning of the episode and everything gets resolved at the end of the episode for the most part. Or it gets carried on to the next episode. It's very soap opera-ish. And quite honestly, there's no details in the middle. Sometimes there's some cool stuff that happens, but it's very few and far in between now. Caleb Richardson, yeah, Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing are great, but not actually. Season 2 of Titans is a lot better, Caleb. It really is. Now, granted, it's nowhere near Doom Patrol or Swamp Thing, quite honestly, but it is pretty good. Deathstroke in Titans is a badass. Isai Morales, yeah, he's a fucking badass, and that costume that he's got on is pretty damn good. Yeah. And yes, Doom Patrol is something, I mean, it's Jeremy Carver is really what it is. It depends on your showrunner. And Jeremy Carver came off of Supernatural, man. I mean, that guy worked with Ben Edlund, and Ben Edlund is a genius when it comes to TV. So having him, pilot his own show as a showrunner, he's going to do some really good stuff with it. And that's why we got such a good show out of. So Ezekiel, the cockroach in Doom Patrol, is actually a Supernatural thing. It was from Supernatural, and he brought it over. He was supposed to put it in Supernatural, and they couldn't make it work. Which I'm glad, because I love Ezekiel. And it led to one of the weirdest moments I've ever seen on TV, with a giant rat and a giant cockroach making out. Yeah. The expectation of Doom Patrol is high. That worries me. It should worry you, Mr. Roboto. I mean, it set the bar pretty fucking high. I can say that much. It really did. Go and watch it. If you haven't watched it, it's out on DVD. You can go and buy a copy and watch it if you don't want to do the free trial of DC Universe. Oh, yeah. I would love to have Church of Ezekiel website or something like that. I watched the first episode of season 2 and I zoned out halfway through. They completely retconned season 1. If you have to retcon, so the first episode of season 2, Caleb, of Titans is actually the very last episode of season 1. It was held over till season 2. That doesn't count. Watch episode 2. Episode 2 is where the new season actually starts, and they get rid of all of Akiva Goldsman's bullshit in there and Jeff Johns' bullshit. And they basically say, so the first season essentially said there was no Titans beforehand, that this is the first iteration of the Teen Titans. Season 2, episode 2 of Titans says, no, there was a version beforehand, and there's a reason why we don't exist anymore. And it's really good of how they did it. It's not retconning season 1. It's just kind of wiping away how bad that was. Yeah. Uh, it sets the bar in every episode and didn't disappoint. Yeah, exactly, Marks. I agree with you on Doom Patrol. Yeah. Like I said, start with episode 2 and just work through it. Jason Todd is so in the comics, I hated Jason Todd. I believe I called up that 900 number and voted for him to die. I paid that $1.99 to vote for him to die. So I'm one of the people responsible. But in this iteration of Jason Todd, I like better than Dick Grayson. I don't like Dick Grayson, the way he's being portrayed in this. Ian Glenn is the world's shittiest Batman, or Bruce Wayne, if you will. He is not Bruce Wayne. I'm pretty sure it's just Alfred pretending to be Bruce Wayne. And it's just one big practical joke on Dick. So there you have it. I delved into some other DC lore, which I probably shouldn't have. So if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share, and subscribe. If you don't like what you see here, no, you can hit the dislike button. I just asked you to go down below in the comment section. Tell me what it is you don't like. Let's see what's going on. Tomorrow is going to be a doubleheader, another doubleheader. It's going to be Mr. Robot and Watchmen. Monday I'm off. Tuesday is It Worth My Time? Living with Yourself, the Netflix series Living with Yourself. Wednesday I'm off. Thursday is another Feelings in Hallways, if you guys want me to keep going. Friday is Titans, and Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off all over again. So I saw that scene where he dances. This is just 66 Batman all over. Yeah, so he did the Batusi, and there's a reason for it, Caleb. Just like I said, watch it. DC does not seem to have a universe, just different show that vaguely. So, Mr. Roboto, what they've said is that all the different DC universes are all canon. So the Gaslight, Gotham by Gaslight is canon. Elseworlds, all that stuff is canon. They're just different universes. All the different DC crises that have happened, all the worlds that have happened on that, they're all canon. They're just different universes or different worlds. So yes, they are all valid, is what they say, whether you like them or not. Which I thought was kind of a stupid move on their part, but hey, what am I? I'm just a person who actually consumes this stuff, is a fan of it, that kind of stuff. What do I know? Also, he doesn't even try to hide. Yeah, I know he doesn't try to hide his British accent. I know, Caleb. It's pretty bad. Yeah, Gotham by Gaslamp. The animated wasn't good. It's a bad animated DC movie. They've started animating. So since they've kind of ramped up their animation schedule on their movies, their animation's gotten really bad, just really, really bad. And they've kind of gone the anime version of it, but the really shitty, cheap anime, and it's not good. I'm not finding a lot of their stuff palatable in the animation field. So I agree with you, Marks. I don't even want to see the latest Wonder Woman thing that's come out. I thought they already done that storyline before, but maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. They keep redoing the same storyline sometimes, and yeah, it had some cool figures if you're going to buy action figures, but nothing else. Yeah, I mean, come on, that's a cool figure right there. So that's a Space Ghost Rider, by the way, and he's got a little baby Thanos strapped to his chest. So yeah, so Cosmic Ghost Rider, excuse me, Cosmic Ghost Rider. I had to actually look back at it and take a look at it. I just got that in. That's a LA Comic-Con exclusive. So in Titan, Bruce adopted a British accent. Yes, he came from Great Britain. And his family was killed on the Thames during St. Crispin's Day. So they moved to Gotham and decided to start all over again. The end. Yeah, I know. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the evening. Thank you to everyone who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And remember, tell me down below in the comment section whether or not you want me to keep going with this or not. If you like the snark, let me know. Until then, tomorrow, like I said, Mr. Robot and Watchmen. We'll see how Watchmen the second episode is. Hopefully they kind of explain some shit, but I don't know. We come for the snark. Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. The animated stuff is a lot better than the movies. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the animated Harley Quinn series, with the R-rated Harley Quinn. Yeah, I didn't watch The Killing Joke, so I couldn't tell you. No, there is no snark with Mr. Robot. That's because that is some quality goddamn programming right there. Or some goddamn quality programming. Either way, it works. So with that said, if you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see a video pop up here. It's going to take YouTube takes a look at all the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and matches it up with one of the videos in my library and pops it up there for you. Up here will be Saturday Morning Blast Off, which was just this morning. And you can hear me talk about clown porn and octopus and Jeff Loeb and In-N-Out Burger and all kinds of other weird shit. Because there was a lot of different topics that happened this morning. Yes, Mr. Robot is not Farina. You did miss the clown porn, Viking bitch. You missed. Yes, that's right. The hashtag transvestite clown horror was also used in that in that episode. There was a lot of shit that went down this morning. That's all I can say. And it was all because Viking bitch wasn't there, and neither was Movie Fanobi. Because someone had better things to do, obviously. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to let you go for the evening. Thank you to everyone who joined me again. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. Until next time, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, or otherwise you might end up getting stuck in a hallway talking to you about your feelings with someone who's just really not that into it, nor do they care. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.